Nish. Yeah, tá sé dul bio inis. Okay, chuirde tá fáilte romh ag an ihe Eolais an seo nocht be míid chuna le an gcearr trochnoméid is leor son just gon Eolais a thuairtíomh an bliana ceathair seo. An himachtaí a bheith ar siúlacha, an spórt agus sprí, an crack a bheith acu, na himachtaí an na turais, an ceoldrama agus a lehéid. Just ribh hostín ruí an sin, an féidir just seáil live go gúilte ná muid a chluisteáil. So dheis tá áitin sin gur féile le ceisna chu isteach, nu is féidir le thumbs up a chur ann, just má tá duine in an ordóg a chur an sin ag rá, yeah, cluisim gacrod, and we're ready to go. So just a question and answer part on the right hand side there, and there's a chat segment as well. And if somebody could just put a thumbs up there, and we'll know that we're ready to go and people can hear me. So I'll just wait 1 minute there just for somebody to maybe type in yes, all going well, or Ordog Sos, and we'll get started with this TY information session. 30 minutes, I was saying, as Gaeilge, we'll keep it very short, and I will sorry, somebody had to window there, and we'll get out the door very quickly. Okay, so if you can just making sure there somebody can hear us there. So I'm just waiting a second, yeah. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, the Gachri Gubber. Okay, so mar dúirt mé fáilte romh óna Caligan seo, príomh na scoile, just a leirlih go han topic. Gan second be me chuirse raig ag an ceannar bliana, the yearhead, Lorcan O'Callaghan, and Lorcan will talk to you briefly about his role, I suppose, with the TY students as yearhead. I'll go through a few things about timetables and stuff with you, and then we'll pass it over to Corridor Clár, the head of Leanish, and Kieran O'Callaghan. So our TY coordinator Kieran will then go through most of the detailed information, and then I'll come back to myself then for a small bit on subject sampling and choice subjects for 5th year, which will be very important. So just come right, Shiv, and show goody Lorcan now again second, just hopefully we'll show you Gubberdom. I guess Corme Lorcan Inuldiv Anish. Okay.
Right. Look, Giorib, tu nan me chlashan shinon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Giorib fad, look, tashain tuchen jesh or couple medal chun laur sibber fad. It's really great to have an opportunity to speak to you here just for a few minutes at the start of the session to introduce myself as the year head for the transition year group this year. It's Michelle Lorcan O'Callaghan. I was lucky enough to be involved as the transition year head last year, and we had a super year with the Ceolchorum, or the musical that went on, and the various activities that we had over the course of the year. I suppose my role in the whole thing really is to on two parts, I suppose, keep an eye on things in relation to Cuasaí Iompar, our discipline, but also support your sons and daughters in relation to their own well-being and their own development over the course of the year. I'm really lucky to have a great team of Edjuranga, our class heads, in Onion Rhinon for Oran, Doreen and Nicdonacha with Akel, Turlach and Waylon with Tori, and Almany Chullion with Rachlin. Very experienced teachers, they're really good, have a great feel for it all, and I suppose, look, we'll be doing our best to keep everybody sun sauced over the course of the year, and we'll be involved obviously with the various activities that they're doing also. So please feel free to contact me if you have any concerns. I'll certainly be contacting you if we want to flag anything on the other side of things as well. I suppose just a couple of very brief things to flag with you. Obviously, as a Scoil on Gaeilge, I'm sure Owen will be touching on this, and in my role with discipline, we're looking to get a real strong input in the space of Lauras na Gaeilge and so on. So it's something we'll be focusing on over the course of the year, just to make sure to keep those standards as high as they have been over the last while, and to really push that side of things on as well. So I think I'm handing over to, thanks a million. It's great to be here, as I said, and I look forward to chatting to you all over the course of the year and working with your sons and daughters to have a great year and really enjoyable on all aspects, I suppose, academically, but also extracurricularly as well. So, thanks a million. I'll hand it over to Kieran, Owen, or is it yourself?
Owen, you're on mute there. Sorry, yeah. Owen.
You're just on mute there, Owen, if you can hear us.
Okay, Gurmila Magud, thank you. Thanks for that. I'm trying to present it here and say hello to the same, and I'm not doing a very good job, so Tobronum. But just as Lurcan was saying there, I suppose TY is about having the activities, having trips, having fun, but also we have a pastoral care system and led by Lurcan as the year head. So I suppose for us the main thing is like there's a team around our TY students, and that's, you know, with our year head Lurcan and Shin. We have Moontori, who would be our Idaranga, their class leaders that would be there to help them. Those 4 teachers will be involved in the musical as well, so they really will get to know them this year. We have our Corlori Sculla, so we have Patricia there to help them from Corlock, from guidance, and then we have Leona there as well to work with any additional needs, learning needs. And it's probably important just to remember, you know, after 4th year we get into 5th year, and if a student is struggling with a subject, you know, and if assessment has to be made, you know, now is the time to be, you know, looking at these things, because they do take time, and just it's important that you're just thinking of these things at the moment. Okay, just more Louis looking at Shin freshen vi kind Gaelga and spruck smooth Gwynam. Our main goal this year is that make an Gaelga Marchanga social in the scholar, so that the Irish will be the social language used in the school. Students are very good, but sometimes they can slip. And for me, it's very important that the students are speaking Irish inside class, as they always do, but also with their friends outside class, outside on the pitch, whatever, because this might be the only opportunity to engage through Gaelga, and they will need that because they will be answering leaving their questions through Irish. So it's important that they keep practicing. You'll see later on this evening, I'll be sending out my newsletter, a sway on Gaelga, and it will go through our plan for this year. On Shke Mahantis, the Marskull Gaeltachta, the Irish Recognition Scheme as a Gaeltach school, and the rules we have for Gaelga, and all we're going to do this year. So please, just, you'll get a text later on, please spend a bit of time reading it, and you'll see how much effort we're putting in to Gaelga in the school, along with well-being and teaching and learning as our 3 pillars for this year. Okay, so the Amclor Imlina is done adulty blina Cahar. They have Sherang Salo. What we've done this year with the 1st, 2nd and 4th years, they have a break in the 2nd and 4th class. I think it's probably not a bad idea for the 4th years to get that break in the middle of the classes, because the 1 hour class can be quite long, so it gives them a chance to get outside for 20 minutes and then get back into that wrong Irish. Okay, so I'm not there wrong now. I just want to say about classes. Sometimes TY students can say, they can ring home and say, we have no classes today, or we don't have any important classes today. Okay, I just want to make sure that every day students have Irish, English, maths, and a language. Okay, there are 4 subjects for their Leaving Cert. I'm telling those teachers to work away through Leaving Cert material. They will be covering 1/3 of the Leaving Cert in 4th year during these classes. So if a student rings home and says there's nothing happening today and they get signed out, I'm going to say no, because students should be in school from 8:45 to 15:23 every day, because the core subjects will be happening every day. And the choice subjects, which I'll speak about later, they will be sampling these subjects over the next 5 months, and then they will be picking their subjects. So it is very, very important that you fear Hovtuk, go in adulti erskal all the time, again of the hover. So I would just really ask that you be supportive of us on this, and not to allow a student go. Okay, on signing out, students as part of our strategy, we're making sure that no student in fourth year is allowed to leave the building unless a parent or guardian turns up as well on the day. Okay, so really, I suppose what I'm trying to say is I want to keep them in here for the duration of the full day and let them get the full benefit of the learning for that day. Okay, so Gramil Magov, Tumukun Shiv Karaganish go Kiranish, Agus Beshidul Tree Rint done Olas done Italy. So go second Nish Kiran.
Gramil Magi to one time me flushta.
Oh yeah,
Inta. Gramil Magi Mr. Kieran O'Callron, Juhur le Lurkan Aton Sean of Freshen. If I reach Blinton-ish, Tamishmar Corda Hor Blina Nahidger Blina. So for the last number of years, I've been the coordinator of the program. This means that I get in there and my job is basically to create a program that will enrich and develop the students who come through fourth year. And like I said when I spoke to you earlier in the year, I do see the role as quite a privileged role in the school because there is a very, very clear jump that students take in their development in this year. If you take a snapshot of them at the beginning of the year in the last few weeks, and if you met them again in May or June next, very often it's completely transformative the year that takes place for them, and I do see that as a privilege. So in relation to the logistics of the year, we've broken up the calendar into 4 distinct parts as far as Easter. You see here that we have the first timetable that the students will start on. They've already started on, they're a number of weeks into it, and they'll be finishing on the 6th of October on that. That'll be 6 weeks. And on that 6th week, they will be getting assessments in all of the core subjects that they're studying. Then after that week, they will go on and they will move on to their next timetable. And this will repeat itself until Easter, when they've gone through the entire breadth of subjects that we have available in the school for them to choose from going into 5th year. My apologies, my voice, I actually broke one of my front teeth a couple of days ago. So my voice, I'm making a little bit, I have a slight lisp at the moment, but a lot of S sounds. Anyway, yeah, going on to the Blian. After Easter, they will have sampled all of the subjects. And at that point, they'll be making their decisions on what they'll be doing in 5th year. And for the rest of the year, then, we'll be putting more of a focus on them reflecting on the year that they've had. They'll have been engaged in a lot of activities in the school and outside the school. And we want them to, I suppose, as independent learners, to think about that. And we'll be organising interviews with them. They'll be creating a portfolio. And at the end of the year, they'll sit with parents and they will talk through the year that they've had. And like I said, even that little talk, it's hugely beneficial for them. Like when you talk to them after that, they buzz, you know, that's where a lot of they actually realize themselves what they've achieved in the year. So it's a huge part of that. And it is something that we look for parent input in this as well. You know, I could sit down and do an interview with them, but again, I teach them every day. It's not as big of an occasion. We like parents to come in, first of all, obviously for you to see what they've been involved in the year, but also they take it a little bit more seriously when they know that they're going to have to be talking or being interviewed like this. So we will be reaching out during the year to look for some parents to get involved in that. All we'd ask is that you would have Irish and you'd be able to have a conversation with them in Irish. But, you know, we'll be as accommodating as we can, obviously, as well. So we'll have 4 assessment weeks through the year as far as Easter. And then on 2 of those, on the second one and on the last one for Easter, we'll be sending out a Thuismitheoirí or a report to parents as well from the teachers who are teaching them the core subjects. So you'll be getting an update on progress and things like that. But like I said, I'm teaching a number of the classes in 4th year this year as well. And the last thing we want is that this year turns into an impediment on their learning, that they stop studying, that they stop coming to school, that they stop bringing in pens, paper, being organised. We don't want any of that sort of rubbish. You know, they're all bright young students. We want to make sure that when they're going into 5th year, they're at an advantage rather than a disadvantage because of transition year. Right? Yeah. Yeah, so look, as well as academic, the academic's important. We are an academic school. Year after year, we come out with excellent results. We know that that's a huge selling point of the school, but we also know that as important as the academic is, the social side and the developmental personal side for students is just as important. And that's why TY in our school is so important. We know that, and we want students to see this year not as just take the foot off the gas, sit back and do nothing. No, it's to look at themselves and try to develop themselves in different ways. They'll have more time this year. They will get upper body in some of the core subjects, but not a huge amount. It's not it's not about that this year. They'll have plenty of that when they get to 5th year and 6th year. There will be time in their day and both in school and outside of school for them to get involved in different things. And we do look for parental support in that too. It's important that if you see that Johnny or Mary or whoever it is, your child, it seems to be disengaged completely, that they just want to be sitting in front of a computer screen and playing a game for the night or whatever it is, the chances are that they're not making the best use of their time. We have loads, we're going to have groups coming into the school talking to students, looking for their support, looking for their help so they can work in their community. And again, they're the type of things that will help these students in the long term. So again, you know, I would ask that if I have had contact with parents before, where they'd say, look, we're seeing that he's disengaging. Like I've said to parents numerous times, the next time they're going to have, I suppose, the freedom of time that they have in 4th year. Now, they're fully timetabled, as Owen pointed out, and they need to be in school each day. But, you know, they're not going to be under as much academic pressure. The next time they'll be like this will probably be 1st year university. And if they disengage completely in transition year, it's near like a crystal ball to what they're probably going to be doing in 1st year in college. So unless, you know, they need to motivate themselves to get involved in things. And again, that's something we'd ask our parents to keep an eye on as well. And you can certainly contact me if you think that that's not happening with your child. Thanks, Owen.
Yep.
Agus furbis parsanta. So fecin much in shot, tá glór rudí sam líon a tá muid gira a mais ag tuairteach an potential atá ag the machnú de inín. So we have SPHE classes, the President's Award Scheme. I've spoken to a number of the classes about this already. It is something that we ask students to sign up for on an individual basis. We don't just block book all the students through it because there has to be a worth to it. The students all go to Goshka, they go to goshka.ie. If you look at what your son or daughter are already involved in, the chances are a number of the achievements they need to pick out in the year, they're already doing them. When I spoke to a class last week, most of the students were doing at least 2 out of the 3 activities anyway. If they're involved in sport, if they're doing any sort of dansa or icona orani or any of that sort of stuff, they can put that into the Goshka President's Award Scheme. I did the President's Award Scheme, and that was many moons ago when I was in school. And back then, so this has currency. The chances are when I mentioned President's Award Scheme, most of you know what I'm talking about. So it has currency, especially for young people. It shows that young people are get up and goers, that they're not just sitting at home doing nothing. So again, this is Lornach, Crí Lornach, Clor, Idrili. It's a central part of what we're doing. They should easily be able to achieve this in the year if they're doing the things that we'd hope they'd be doing in transition year. And it does give them the opportunity to add a special skill. So be it cooking, or getting up and walking the dog, doing a little bit of exercise. These are the sorts of habits that when they go on to university, they're going to be priceless. You know, to be able to cook 10 meals. Like I know when I was in 1st year in college and 2nd year and probably even 3rd year, I could barely heat up a pizza. If I had the opportunity of actually developing something while in a year in school where I can make Mexican tonight, I'll make Chinese tomorrow night, whatever it might be. These are huge life skills. So we're missing a trick if we're not, you know, taking these types of things and running with them. They have value. They're going to be. We invite different groups in to do workshops with them as well. SOAR will be coming in later in the year. It's a wellness workshop that encourages students to speak up about issues in their lives, talk to each other, share problems, and so on. So we try to add as much into we're trying to find that perfect balance of. Obviously, we need to keep the academic going, but we're also trying to bring all of these other elements into it as well. Like I said, every 6 to 7 weeks, their timetable will change. So that they get a new timetable and they start on new subjects. And those subjects, after 6 to 7 weeks, they'll have a good taste and they'll be able to make an educated choice about their 5th year subjects rather than just picking whoever their friend is or whatever their friend is picking as well. But it is, as Owen pointed out, it's incredibly important that they're in school. There will be students who will, they'll see this as an opportunity to say, nothing happening, why would I go in and should I pick up a part-time job? We don't want the worst thing that could happen in transition year is the students become disengaged with education, that they see this as a way of just having one big long toss of a year, and that they don't do any work. And I'm a French teacher, I teach English as well. I have seen students who have gone from doing really well in the junior cycle in French, and they just did absolutely nothing in 4th year. And by the time they got to 5th year, you're kind of looking at them saying, this is going to be really, really difficult. You made this very, very hard for yourself now. And they'd have to be looking at dropping from probably higher to lower level or ordinary level because of that. So look, keep an eye on, all the teachers here are very engaged. We have a brilliant team. I feel very lucky. I've got teachers coming to me trying to talk to me about organizing trips directly through subjects and things like that. So we're doing our best on this side, but again, the students need to do their side as well. Yeah, the Gaisce President's Award, I mentioned this already. They sign up online. It's €15 that you pay to sign up on this. They don't obviously want just everyone in the country signing up and then not doing it. So there is a €15 cost. They pick 3 activities. One is personal activity, so it could be cooking, playing a musical instrument. It's wide open. All the information is on the website. The second is a physical activity. And again, if a student is leaving school without having some physical activity in their background, college, the rest of their life will be difficult, because you need to start putting habits in early that are going to help you live a happy and healthy life. So again, if it's just a case of walking the dog for an hour each week, that would be acceptable for the personal activity. There doesn't need to be a big cost to this. There's community involvement. There will be groups coming to the school, talking to students, looking for help. The Youngest Minister Paul always come, park run. There's a few different groups that will be coming this year. It'll be easy for them to get involved. Even if they don't do it through the school, they can certainly, if they're playing sport, start helping out, training the under-12s on a Saturday, put out the cones or whatever it might be, just to give them an understanding of empathy and helping your community. That's what we're trying to show this year. Like we said, there will be 4 assessments during the year. They'll happen at the end of each of the rotations, and we will be sending reports home on 2 of those after two of those weeks. And then at the end of the year, like I said, we'll be doing interviews, and the students will be preparing a portfolio during the year. And we will be looking for some parental input in regards to that. Yeah, will parents be made, sorry, I'm just looking at a question as it pops up here. Will parents be made available of all the trips being offered to students? Absolutely. Now, I'm as well as being the transition year coordinator, like I said, I am also teaching a lot of different classes, but I do have time for this in the week. Some weeks are busier than others. I do find windows where I can sit down, and I'll be looking at sending out newsletters. You're going to be getting some information shortly. Actually, I'll wait for the slide to come up in relation to the, so we're looking at some foreign trips this year as well. But any of the trips that are happening, I will be giving updates to parents on what's happening. For example, in the last few days, all of our students went back to Kilkieran, where they went kayaking and they went cycling for the day back there. They're in new groups, and we put a few activities at the beginning of the year where they get a chance to work with their groups and make new friends and things like that. The Ceol Drama is huge. It's one of the things, it's the highlight of the year for a lot of students. This and the foreign trip, the 2 of them, it's what students, I still meet students who left the school many moons ago, and they will still be talking to me about musicals and the time we went skiing in Italy or whatever it was. This is a huge part of the year. There's a big focus on this. It's happening a lot earlier this year than it would have before. So that means we're getting straight into it. The auditions for parts have already happened. They happened before the summer. We have choreographers and professionals coming in, and a number of teachers working with the students now on Mondays and on Thursdays. So we had those days that are block booked for this class there, or this practice. And that's going to be taking place towards the end of November. And again, we look for, it's a huge part of their year and of their lives up to this point. So, again, if parents want to get involved, get your friends to go along and things like that, we want to create a buzz about the whole thing. The third scholar, the school trips, these are 100% optional. The first thing is that we need to say, is I'll be looking at the foreign trips. The students get very excited about those. They're going up in price, like everything. They're just going up in price. We're looking at the moment at the possibility of offering 2 different trips. One of them, a ski trip, that will suit a number of students. We always get a lot of interest in that, but it doesn't suit all students. And if you're, you know, it's a very physical active week. And we're also looking at the possibility of maybe offering a second trip. There'll be something like maybe a cultural trip to a European city. That would be very different, but would also be great fun, but just that it would appeal to maybe a different group of students. And also the cost of that would probably be a lot, or certainly lower than a ski trip. Ski trips are just going up and up, and we know that. And we know it's a huge burden on parents to have to try and meet that cost. So we want to try and offer as much as we can this year. As well as these foreign trips, we will have a domestic trip. We're already booked into an adventure centre in the West later on next year. And again, that's something that it's not extortionate. You know, we tried, I think last year cost about €170. They went for 3 days, 2 nights of activities together. So no matter, I suppose, where the budget lies with each different household, and we totally appreciate that, my God, like I'm building a house at the moment, I'm sure you all appreciate the cost of that. But we're trying to make this as accessible as possible. We know that not everybody can go on everything, and we know that some students will be disappointed. We want to make sure that we have things that we can offer every student, and that they can participate and they can be with their friends no matter what. So I will be sending out. Yeah.
Just one question come in there. Just for Eolais Fianna information about the trips, and when will parents be?
Well, right now I was sent an itinerary recently from one of the school tour companies, and now there was a few things I needed changing in it. That's the experience of being on these trips before, just to make it more enjoyable for the students. So they'll be coming back to me hopefully by early next week with prices and things like that. As soon as I get that information, I'll have to add things like buses up and down to Dublin. Unfortunately, we have to pay for everything. It's a reality of the program. But once I can package the whole thing together, I'll be sending out the information to parents, and it'll be up to parents then to decide. I'll put out a survey to say, look, first of all, do you want your son or daughter to go on a trip? Which one would it be? Would it be possibly going skiing, or possibly going on more of a cultural and activity-based trip? And then when we get that feedback from parents, then we'll be making bookings with them. But I'll be doing that as soon as I have all the information. I'll be moving ahead with that. Tahi Ibra has started already. It's every Wednesday. There's 3 blocks of Tahi Ibra, or work experience. And again, like I said, the important thing for students is not to waste it. A lot of them will get part-time jobs, which is fantastic from it, but we do want them to try different things. If they go and get a job in a local shop down the road, that's great. But if they try to keep that job on the Wednesday all the way through the year, they're not going to gain a huge amount from this opportunity. It's the only time any solicitors or architects or whatever, like every company that's out there, would be willing to open their doors to somebody without somebody going through maybe 6 or 7 years of study to get to that point and going through an interview process and so on. They'll get to see the inside of a workplace and experience work in that place. So it's not to be, we don't have this anywhere else. You know what I mean? It's so many people end up studying for courses, going through all the rigmarole of getting an interview, and then realizing a month into a job that what on earth am I doing here? So we don't I've seen amazing feedback from the work experience program, simply by students going in, and it's not necessarily positive. Some students will go in and realize very, very quickly, this is not for me. And that's transformative as well, because it allows them to say, right, now I need to rethink what I'm actually going to be doing. And then they might try something else afterwards and realize, oh my gosh, this is where my future lies. So, you know, definitely they'll have 3 blocks of work experience. First one, I'd say let them get a part-time job out of it, but the other ones, don't waste them. Make sure that they're actually using them to find out about, is there something here that I could use for the future? Yep. Oh yeah, information. You know, there's over 100 students in transition year, and the school population is growing the whole time. I don't have notice boards and things like that in the school. We have them, but it's very hard to keep them up to date. You have to be printing off stuff and taking stuff down, putting stuff up. I don't work like that. I've explained this to the students. We'll communicate with them through Teams. I will be sending out, I have most parents' email addresses now. If you haven't received anything from me yet, you can send me a message through your son or daughter with your email address. I'll add you to the list to make sure that it's up to date. As the year goes on, I will be sending out information about activities and so on. Yeah, like again, we spoke to the students the first day they came in, and I said to them, look, it's participation. Ron Forsyth is Shinin Rud is totally similar. Just put your hand up and try things, do things. Some things are opt-in, some things are opt-out, but the more opt-in they do, the better year they're going to have. There will be information through Thuismitheoirí. We have a Twitter account also, and as activities are going on, we will be posting pictures and things like that up there. Yeah, but my main way of communicating with parents is through Reatha. My only way of communicating with the students is through Teams. So make sure again that they all have Teams on their phone and notifications turned on, because if something changes, last year we had to cancel a couple of things just because of bad weather. But I'll be putting that up as soon as I find out. I'll be letting students know. If they don't know that, they arrive in the next day in their tracksuit and they know school books. That's not ideal. Yeah, and I'm seeing another question here. Will there be a first aid course organised for the TY students in 2023-24? Yeah, that's something that we have run over the years. Our first aid courses, they're an expensive thing to run. I know that we have groups in and they could be charging 70, 80, 90 euro, depending on who's running it. What I'll be doing is I'll be advertising this. I'll find it. We have suppliers who we use, and I'll be speaking to them. We'll be offering a course to parents. It'll be optional though. We understand the cost of the year as is. It's as cheap as we can make it, but we also know for a lot of families it is a big cost. We're trying to put as much in so that the students get the most benefit from it. But if we offered first aid to everybody, it would dramatically increase the cost of the year. So it is something that we absolutely will be offering this year, but it'll be happening slightly later in the year as well.
Okay. Gurmila Margaret Kieran an sin. Mata in question ela gwib just current question isteach an sin agus big deisic mahin agus Kieran as Lord just Brad Newer who agus did chat to Jack. Just if you have any questions, just please add them in on the right hand side and we'll do our best to answer them. If we haven't got the answer, we'll definitely get back to you. Just to finish up very quickly, I just wanted to talk briefly about 5th year subject options. So this year, as Kieran mentioned in TY, the students sample all choice subjects for 5th year in TY, and they do 3 or 4 choice subjects every 7 or 8 weeks, and then they rotate timetable and try 3 or 4 more, and by February, by gach over Daintico, by Bl.4 Daintico, it gach over. At that stage then, I would be organising an information night for parents and guardians to go through the options and with the career guidance teacher, and just to give as much information as we can to you before the students make their choices. We will also be sitting down with the students again, and we'll be getting 5th years and 6th year students to sit down with them and explain, I suppose, to them from another student's perspective how they find subject X or subject Y. But it's very important that you at home, I suppose, start having the conversations with the students at this stage about what subjects are you doing at the moment, what choice subjects are you doing, because come February, March, they will have to choose Rawa, Haindo, Tricar, Cúig. They will have to pick preference, in order of preference, their subject choices 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can't guarantee that everybody gets options 1, 2, and 3. So it is very important that they look at their subjects. They look at, if they don't get the top 3, what's my 4th option? Do I like that? Have I got a science subject? Have I got a business subject? Do I need these subjects? Do I need to talk to the career guidance teacher this year? So there's a lot of work to be done here between now and next March. And after that, well, then it's up to me then to I suppose, do my best to give as many people the best options. But we can never give everybody every option. So it's important that they have a 4th subject, you know, or even a 5th subject, and that they really know what they like and don't like at that stage. Okay. Just go ceist eile isteach Jack an sin, cúpla ceist eile. Will there be interview skills, CV prep, guidance, Gormahagat? Yeah, that's something that we hope to do in TY this year, and then that will finish up with their assessment by interview, where we will, as Kieran said there, we will be looking for volunteers, yourselves, parents from the community to come in and help us and sit on a board, and we get a chance to interview these students and how they got on the year and just give them that experience of sitting in an interview, and it's so important going forward. So didn't want to show Igra not rushing in refust go full. So what I would say is, if you can send an email to myself or Kieran just saying that you want to be on the list, and for some reason you're not on the list, we'll make sure that you're added to the TY parents and guardians email list. Okay. So just big na cooking made falca. Just piece of anviog model listen artish na 30. So small bit about the leaving cert and grades. I think it's very important at this stage. We might have students in TY who are saying, yeah, okay, how am I getting on with the Gaeilge? And I just want to highlight, I suppose, 3 weeks ago we had our leaving cert results here. As you can see there, our results are excellent. Always have been excellent. 14% scored over 600 points, 41% scored over 550. And if you look at compared to the national average, well, with 41% over 550, the national average is 14%. Now, I know there's many factors that come into that, but I suppose on Rud Dumsa now, Kinta is féidir leanúnta raig leis an idachas trí Gaeilge im lína cuaig agus im lína sé. You can follow on with your education into 5th and 6th year through Irish. The results are there to prove it, that our students do come out every year and score exceptionally good results trí Gaeilge. I also just put in a number of graphs there of the different subjects. Now, they might be difficult to read as you're looking at it there, but you can see the maths. The green line is Closh and Curba, the yellow line is Gael Closh to Yella, and the blue line is the national average. So you can see Samata, well, the green line, we're well above the national average. In Irish, so Gaeilge and Darragh, which you'd hope we'd be above the national average, well, we are. Very good grades again. Béarla, we are in line with every other average in the country, Gael Closhty, our national average, and slightly above. So even though Gwynmedi Gubbertree Gaeilge, it has had no negative effect on Béarla or the English as a language. Beholioch, the biology, again, you can see we're well above the national averages. And on the bottom line, the physics, the alien, the art, the Tiroliocht, the Tyrolis, and on Kunstsiocht, the accounting, again, the results speak for themselves. So for me, it's really important to say, when you're thinking about subjects for 5th year, we can get these grades for all our students here, that this school will support and deliver for all our students, as long as Kieran said, Gwil na Dalti is that the students are in. Okay, and that's one of my main messages for this year, is that be on as be partic, be here and be part of your classes. On Gaeilge, Laur Gaeilge, we will be tough on the Gaeilge and real na Gaeilge, where if students are speaking English, we will have to put them on after school detention on a Friday. We look for your support here. We're not doing this to annoy students. We're doing this so that they will speak more Gaeilge. They will improve their Gaeilge, which in turn will be seen in all their grades as they are answering subjects through Irish for their leaving cert. On Trio Rud to Maconarano, to gach desh at Aun Imlina. Kieran is doing this program for many years. He has as many activities as he can fit in any one year, and there's opportunities there to volunteer. There's opportunities to sign up to different things during the year. Sign up to everything. Please ask your son or daughter to try everything this year, and those who try really will enjoy this year. And I suppose the main thing is that they enjoy it and have a great year. Again, if they try and put the effort in, I've no doubt every year Banachid on Tatnav, us and Glor, Abini Kieran. Every year students really enjoy the program that Kieran puts together, and there's a lot of work that Kieran puts in all over the summer to plan a program. But the students have to engage, and students have to be willing to take part in these activities as well. So, Shinna made Lata Lera go make a bunch of to just like Bretnu go on topic and show Cooper Castella Honig Jack No, I think Tom sin question gléir atá gon fi láthair. So yeah, ní léon question eile. So accorda just bravalamar má bhuichas le Ciarán asach de bheith linn anocht agus chlár iontook spragul chuir le chéile dom bhliain. So I want to thank Ciarán firstly for being here tonight and planning the program for TY for this year. I also want to má bhuichas go le Lurcán atá mar ceannar bliana. So I want to thank Lurcán as well, who was our yearhead. And I suppose between Lurcán and Ciarán, you know, the two roles will overlap at different points, you know, and it's just great to have those two people on board who are happy to get involved, happy to be on these activities, and happy to meet students and get to know students over the year. So to with Claire and show more Erin, I suppose, is the big thing, and we'll do what we can to make this a really exciting year. So Mar Lume, Tá tafa dé to come Erin Curry Laura show picture Suster Stephen Sculla Tricia showed recording. This will be up on the school website, and look, if you have any further questions, please email myself or Ciarán or Lurcán in relation to your head or pastoral care activities, and we'll do our best to get back to you. Okay, so Gramila Magov Turara agus Slán.
So live.
Long